But yeah, we can dive in and jump in. It's nice to have you guys here. Um, Elena, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Elena, awesome. Good to see you again. And then it's Anisha.
Yep,
Awesome. Anisha, where are you calling in from?
Mumbai in India.
Mumbai. Awesome. That's
Yeah,
great. Are you currently on an offer or are you in like the learning interviewing process?
I'm on the Warrior Babe offer.
Nice. Okay. Awesome. So you're right there with Elena, which is
Yep,
awesome. How long you been on the offer for?
about a week and a little over a week.
Okay. Awesome. Elena, that's kind of about the same amount of time that you've been on the offer as well, right?
Yep. Except I have not started taking calls yet. I'm getting done with the training where she has.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So Anisha, you're on calls. Are you doing like outbound calls? You on the like what type of
Yeah,
call?
I'm on the outbound set team. Yeah,
Okay, awesome. How's that going so far?
it's going well. I had my first set close today, so that's
Woo!
Hey, there we go.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's super exciting.
yeah.
Sweet.
I was,
And
I was,
you're the first role that you've ever had, or is this like have you been in high ticket sales for some time?
no, so before this, I was on a cybersecurity offer.
Okay.
I did that for a few weeks, and then this is essentially the next one that I kind of jumped into.
Okay, awesome. And what are you looking to like learn and grow over the next like let's go like 1 to 3 months. What are you looking to like learn and be able to grow into?
I feel like I want to be able to improve my skill set, but I'm able to kind of have a lot of sets on like just have the output
Yeah,
and essentially grow from there. Eventually become a closer, but in the next 3 to 6 months, just do my job as a setter and grow from there. Yeah.
absolutely. What do you feel like if you were to give like one thing that you're really good at and one thing that you're really weak at, what would those things be?
Well, I don't know. Like I'm good at pushing through, even if it's hard sometimes for me. Like I make sure that I kind of put in the effort and make sure doing the dials or like reaching out to prospects. Even if they say no, I'll be like, okay, fine, I'll find the next person who's possibly willing to say yes.
Awesome.
But what I'm bad at is then managing my mindset sometimes because the cyclical turns of the ups and downs is something that I'm not extremely comfortable navigating. I feel
Yeah.
like that's what I possibly would need help with to kind of grow and get out of and get like be better with myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Isn't that so interesting? Your greatest strength is also your biggest weakness as well. You're really good at like
Yeah.
pushing through, being able to get through kind of like I call it the BS, right? Getting through the BS of the call and everything. And then it's like
Mhm.
the like way of everything then starts like way on the mindset. And if you're not getting the win and you're not getting like the hit every single day, then it's like, oh man, like what are you doing? What's kind of going on? And then it starts to tank a little bit. That's actually so great. I'm not going to do it right now, but I will drop a podcast from Alex Hormozy in the school channel after the call. And one of the cool things that he talks about is that he quotes it as like burnout, but I like to put it in like every aspect of where it just like weighs. It's just not burnout, but
Mhm.
it's like mental fatigue, it's lack of motivation, kind of everything all in one. And he talks about it as if it's like a muscle. And burnout is just like you're working out and you literally are fatigued and you just need to push through it to then get more endurance. And I was like, wow, I've never thought of it that way of like burnout is
Yeah.
really just like you haven't done it before. And you haven't done it for this long before. And so it's like you haven't done something new, and then something new is for extended amount of time. We're not really sure what to understand. And then like that endurance piece. And burnout is actually just you hitting that endurance wall that you actually have to get over to just keep on pushing because you've never broken that point before. And it was interesting. Um, I heard that, and then I went and ran an ultra marathon like 2 weeks after I heard that. And running 40 miles, I was like, it is so true. Like you're you're so much more capable of doing way more than you think of, but you don't know it until you've been there and done it.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I want to encourage you with, and really everyone, is when you feel like you're getting this point of burnout, it's okay to take a breath. It's okay to take a step back real quick but it's not really a point of taking a break. It's not a stopping point. It's a point to take a breath, regather yourself, and then go hammer through, because I guarantee you have way more than you think. And what is actually causing the burnout is the lack of a closed deal, is the lack of that one thing that we're seeking. And oftentimes it's just that one mental barrier to be able to get to that deal. And once you get that deal, you're like, oh, I'm not really actually burnt out. I'm not really not really feeling that bad anymore because I got what I was looking for. And so just one of those things to like keep in the back of your mind when you're going through this process. It's not a easy process. High ticket sales isn't for the faint. But it is one of the industries that you get to work remote. You get to really live the life that you want to live and do whatever you want as long as you harness the skill set. And the only thing that'll ever keep you from harnessing the skill set is not asking questions. As long as you always ask questions, you're always going to be moving forward. So I know that was long-winded, but I hope that was eye-opening and enlightening. Awesome, sweet. Is it Antis? Uh,
Are you
how do you
speaking
pronounce
to
your
me?
name? Yes, sir. How do you pronounce your name?
Atanas.
Atanas.
Yeah.
Where does that originate from?
It originates from Greece.
Greece. That's what I thought. I was thinking that. I was like, okay, that's awesome. Sweet. Are you from Greece or
No, no, not at all. I'm from Bulgaria, but I was born there and then I quickly moved to Canada, where I stay.
Oh, nice. Where in Canada are you?
In Montreal. I speak
Montreal.
French as well. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Are you currently on an offer or are you in the process of finding one?
Yeah, so I'm on an offer right now, has its ups and downs. I was doing phone setting, transition to DM setting. Yeah, I'm sort of looking to learn more how I can improve my process, but as well maybe like look for better opportunities, connect with other people as well. Yeah, the whole lot.
Awesome. What niche are you like most familiar with?
It's hard to say because I've really only been on two offers for like 4 months each. I
Okay.
did personal development and now I'm doing barbering mentorship.
Wow. Okay. So you're on the barbering mentorship right now. How is that going?
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's good. The offer is very good. The lead flow is up and down, like a roller coaster, basically. But yeah, everything else, like the sales team, the owner, like everything else is good.
Okay. Awesome. Um, do you have enough volume to like pack your day out?
In what way?
Like, is there enough work that can be done where you have a full complete day to be able to produce the results that you're looking for?
I'd say yes and no. I can for sure pack my day out if I like do more follow-ups or more outbounds or whatever. But in terms of like activities that will generate revenue, I'd say no.
Okay. And do you mind if we have an honest conversation about like income?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Where's your income at right now with the offer?
It's always around like 3.5 to 5K.
Okay, 3.5 to 5K. And what's your goal? Like where do you need to be or where do you want to be?
I'd want to be at like at least double.
Okay.
So
And do
at
you
least like
see,
7 to 7.5.
okay. And do you see that there's a possibility to be able to achieve your goals while you're there?
Quite frankly, no, I don't think so.
Okay. So this is what I would do if I were you. I would figure out what your weakest strengths are. Your weakest strengths, right? So it's what am I okay at that I can be good at? I'm not going to go try and fix the bad. I'm going to try and fix what I'm already okay at to become better. And that's what you focus on while you're there. And then what I would do is I would look at it's Google. You can look at like Google Analytics. I forget exactly the terminology with it, but essentially you can see what the highest rating Google searches are. And then I would go find something in that niche. I mean, things that are super popular right now, like crypto niche is going crazy. Any type of trading's going really well. Fitness offers are always pretty popular. especially rolling into the summertime, looking at different offers in that space and then be picky because you're not in a bad
Mhm.
spot. I wouldn't say you're in a spot where you need to jump ship, but if you can go from okay to good, you'll probably bring up your income to about that 7K level. And then you can be picky and go find the single opportunity where you're like, okay, I can actually go into this offer. What I learned, I can take over and I can basically start making 10K in the next 2 months.
Mhm.
And then you just
And
be picky.
I guess because I've been around like for a little while now, but it's pretty rare for me to see like setters making 10K a month. So obviously you have more experience than me. How common would you say is it?
So good setters, if you're a good setter, you can make 10K a month, but there's a lot of things that, and the reason why, and I'll answer your question first. The reason why you don't see a lot of setters making 10K a month is because everyone tries to be a closer
Mhm.
and everyone's trying to race into be a closer. And then we have a bunch of bad closers in the space. Like I would
Yeah.
say, frankly, like the quality of closer that's in the high ticket space right now is very low because also the quality of business owner in the space is also very low. And so there comes a point in the space where we have to actually start building up. And that's actually our goal right now is we're building up from the baseline. And so we want to provide the very best setting community to be able to start to actually help build infrastructure from the bottom up into ownership and into closers and such. Now, how do you become a setter that makes 10K a month? Well, you have to look at a lot of different things. One, you have to be a master of your pipeline. And what that means is you have to study your pipeline. You have to know what's going well, what's not going well. You have to then understand how to relate that to closers and be able to understand how can you work best with certain closers. And what that means is studying their process as well. And then edifying the closers and understanding the entire process all the way through. When I was setting at a company called B&B Formula, there was a closer that he had bought a boat for and put it on Airbnb for tax deduction. And I thought that was the
Mhm.
coolest thing ever. And that was my thing with that closer. And every single time I was like, hey, look, when you get on this call, ask him about his boat. 100% show rate with that closer. Why? Because they were so interested about what was going to happen on that next call. And so optimizing every single little step to make 10K plus a month. Now, the benefit of being a setter making 10K a month is you have freedom. The the hardship of being a closer making 10K a month is you have no life. And
How
as
come?
because as a setter, you can step off field at any point in time and nobody cares. You could go do your KPI for the day. You can do your 200 dials and your 4 sets. And if you're a 10K a month closer or 10K a month setter, you can basically snap your fingers and go, I have 3 to 4 sets. Why? Because you know your process so well that it's that easy to get the sets. As a closer, you have 6 to 10 calls on your calendar every single day. You walk away from that calendar, you're fired. You walk away from that
Yeah.
calendar, your team hates you. You take time off when you're on fire, your team hates you. Why would you walk away when you're on fire? Why would you walk away from money? Like, why are you doing these things, right? And actually, it's so much harder to get back in the groove as a closer than it is a setter. And there's way more pressure as a closer. And so it just depends on what type of person you are. For me, man, dude, I love the pressure. I am also a control freak. And so I needed to be a closer. And that's actually where I started. I started in the industry as a closer, but then I came to a company as a setter and then became a manager at that company because I already had all the skill sets and development that I needed to be able to master that. So it just depends on what you want to do with your life and how you want to live. And if you want to if you want to work really hard and make a lot of money, become a closer. But that's like you're going to give up your life for the next 2 to 3 years. It's okay. I did it. Made money. Not mad at it whatsoever. But if you want to have a life, go travel, enjoy your life, and do things, become a setter, get really good at understanding investments, go shop around a bunch of different opportunities. And what that looks like is one, you're looking for job opportunities. Two, you're also going around and looking at how other people are working and how good they are or not. As a setter, like if you had a spot, I would never like look at another offer before going through their setter, like going through their set process. Why? Because if their setters aren't good, why would I go be a part of that team? I want to be a part of
Yeah.
a team that's going to uplift me. And then also like I learned everything about credit. I learned everything about finance, and I learned everything about, any type of industry that I wanted because I was shopping a bunch of different opportunities. And then what that taught me was how to invest. What that taught me was what are scams, what are not scams. And I just learned so much where if I had $100,000 right now, I could go place it in multiple different areas and be good and walk away if I wanted to and get to that point. And then why even need to become a closer when you could be a setter and set up your life and in the next 2 years walk away from working because you set up your investment so well?
That's what I want to do. Like that was the goal, getting into it.
Yeah. You said you live in Canada?
Yeah.
Bro, find me on Facebook, DM me. I got something for you.
No way.
Yep, got something for you. Anyone that lives outside of the US, and if anyone lives inside the US, I can help you with some things, but not this. But outside the US, I can help you. So,
Say less, I'll DM you.
yep, sounds good. Elias, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, doing very well. What are you up to nowadays, man?
I just landed a new opportunity, and today was my first day.
Let's
Just
go.
learning, just removing the rust and getting familiar with the offer and the script. Fortunately, the avatar is kind of like really easy to talk to, simple people, not really how you call like sophisticated.
Yep.
Uh, so you need to speak with them like in layman terms, and it's simple, but when they are actually like looking out for our help. So I
What
enjoy
type
my
of offer
day.
is it?
So it's a marketing agency, but we help concrete contractors.
Contractors. Okay.
Yeah,
So, are you setting for them?
yeah,
Okay. Follow-up pipeline. You're working in construction, contracting. These guys are, if they don't show up, you're looking at a long-term process of like getting them back around. Tie downs are going to be super important. Uh,
yeah,
things that I would do is build a rapport. If I were you, I'd start watching like find a good comedian that you love and watch that comedian and just like be super lighthearted and try and figure out how you can get these people to get to understand you and like build rapport through like some comedy because it's going to
yeah,
be completely different from what they're used to. And they're going to like you as a person, not as someone trying to sell them.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's
Normally, like what I'm trying to do is like, yeah, like the first thing that I asked was like, what's the biggest, challenge here or the objection? And it was actually like they like showing up, and or they show up like they're at the job site, stuff like that. So I was
oh
like,
yeah.
okay, so I need to tie down really well and get that up. So
I manage a sales team that markets towards roofers. And yeah, always something new with them. Had this guy reach out today that said he put 2 nails through his hand and he couldn't show up to the call. And it was like, this is why you need our help, because why are you on a roof? You're a business owner. Get off the roof. But it's it's really about building the connection rapport. But dude, I'm excited for that. Like that's awesome. New opportunities, being able to get in and crush it. And it's very unique offer, doing marketing for concreters. That's awesome. Let me know if you need any help with that.
sure. A quick question, like you mentioned this opportunity that you have for people in the outside of the US. That's the crypto thing that you mentioned on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So if you follow my Facebook,
Okay.
I've been talking about it quite a bit. Yeah.
Well, I think that you messaged me once about it.
Yeah, if you shoot me a message, I'll shoot you the breakdown of how it works and everything.
Awesome.
Cool. Absolutely. Simon, how you doing, man?
Hey Jared, nice to meet you. How's it going?
Going great. What are you up to nowadays?
I left my last offer about 3 weeks ago, and I've had one interview that was about 2 weeks ago. Didn't get that one. That was for Matt Gray, Founder OS. But yeah, the setters in there need to essentially be closers, so I had no chance of that. Speaking at the moment with the guys at yeah, you know Max Torno, he has like a business investment kind of mentoring. No.
That's familiar.
Yeah, so I'm in the pipeline with that, speaking to the sales manager, so maybe I'll have an interview there. But yeah, it's kind of a bit, I'm not really too sure how much I should be prioritizing trying to get a job right now. Why? Because I'm going to be going back to the UK next week for about 3 weeks. And so, like, if that comes up during an interview of like, oh yeah, by the way, I can't start until pretty much like beginning of June, that's probably not gonna like, you know, go down too well, I can imagine. So
Yeah. So it's only a problem if you think it's a problem. Okay.
right. Mhm.
And if you present it as a problem, then they'll see it as a problem. And so
Okay.
for me, like as a manager, you going to the UK, I have no problem with that, right? You're going to go through
Mhm.
onboarding. I'm going to give you some extra books to read because if
Mhm.
I really like you as someone that's going to be on my team, then I'm going to
Mhm.
want you on the team for what you're going to produce when you get back. Now, the
Okay,
biggest things
cool.
around it that I
Yeah,
would
yeah.
probably look at it are like, are you going to be able to start while you're in the UK? Like, can you work a couple hours and just get used to it, get the rust off, understand the offer a little bit? That way we can do some call reviews while you're abroad. Or is it
Mhm.
something where like, hey, I can't work at all? Then if you can't work at all, then there are specific offers that do have longer onboarding periods, which that's okay. But I would
Mhm.
also, if you start to find that it is a problem, I would look at trying to push out interviews at least a week.
Mm.
Like if you push out
Okay.
an interview at least a week and you're already in the UK, and it's like, hey, I'm
Mhm.
going to be back in 2 weeks. Most interview
Mhm.
processes nowadays are going to be like two or three steps most of the
Yep.
time. And so then by
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time you're back, you're going to be ready to onboard, or by the time you're back, you're going to start working.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
so
sure.
the only thing I wouldn't want you to do is stop the interviewing process until you get back, because then you're going to delay yourself at least 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh yeah, totally, for sure. No, I definitely don't want to go down that approach of doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I have to admit that like since I left the offer, I've had quite a few sort of opportunities be like inbound type opportunities. So I've not really been doing too much outbound sort of pursuits. And I
Yeah.
am thinking, yeah, maybe this week just to do it a little bit. But yeah, because I've had my kind of enough share of experience now, I want to make sure that I choose a company that's kind of that's kind of right, that's got enough sort of the cylinders firing, that's not like a new up and coming, that's sort of like, oh yeah, we will in 3 months be generating 500,000, but right now we're only generating 50. Like, no, I've been there, done that enough times, so I know I don't want to get into that kind of offer. I want to get into one that's already got something like in motion, maybe got like a team of setters between like maybe something minimum 3 to 4 like to 6 kind of. That's a good sweet spot, in my opinion. That's yeah. And generally in the sort of you can call it the wealth generating sectors, that's where I've got most of my experience up until now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
One thing that I'd recommend is jumping into Nick Elia's pipeline.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He's one of the coaches here. He runs a call
Yeah.
tomorrow at like 2, I think. And
Two
he's
Eastern.
probably one of the biggest sales recruiter in the space. So like
Mm-hmm.
you have more of like your pick of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Awesome.
Cool.
Simon, is there
Yeah,
anything that I can help you with outside of that?
not really. Not too sure yet. No, just no, I think that's it. It's just first time coming here and just sort of getting a feel for how all these are in in the community, and it's yeah, it's a pleasure to pop in, and thanks for reaching out. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. My calls, I 100% wing it. I let you guys control it
Mm-hmm.
all. So that's how I run my calls. Anyone that has questions that bring it up, like that's how I run
Yeah.
calls. And then we kind of have some fun and dive in after that.
Okay. Nice. No,
Absolutely.
brilliant. Nice one.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Hey,
Appreciate
Brian.
it. Thanks.
Absolutely, Simon. Brian, I saw that you had a question earlier.
Oh yes, hey Jared, how are you?
Doing fantastic. How are you?
Oh, not bad. No, the question is, I'm currently I'm in a stage of a little bit of frustration at the moment, to be fair. So I'm looking for my next role or a new role. I had a role and I'm still doing a commission-based only role. It's based on marriages, so a person going through issues in marriages, and the ads are just not good enough, to be fair, mate. They're just not good enough. They're not providing me anything. And I've been DMing, but not getting much traction.
That's a tough niche. Like
Mm.
just I even just think about like the emotional capacity of that niche. Like that's like dealing with people that have marriage problems. I don't know about you. That's not something that I would be wanting to be talking about every day. I feel like that'd be something I get tired of. Because you were looking for like life coaching, right?
Yeah, I was, but what I've realized is something that you're personally interested in and something that's going to make me revenue and easy revenue are two different things.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's something that I'm trying to figure out. I just need to get into my first role. That's the key.
Yeah, I'd look at the fitness niche, man. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of potential, especially for DM setters. And then
Mhm.
you can kind of go from there. That's probably where I
Okay.
would target. Yeah. I think if
Fitness.
yeah, if I was brand new in the space, I'd probably be targeting the fitness industry right now. Unless
Mhm.
I had extensive knowledge around like finances, and then I'd be going after like the finance niche. Those are probably the um, two niches that have the most clickbait a part of it, and also two niches that people are either have a strong following, which like fitness industry has typically they have a really good brand, typically have a lot of followers, and then in the finance niche they typically have a lot of money to spend on ad spend.
Okay, so to get my reps up, to get my confidence up, start in the fitness industry, and then go from there.
That's what I would suggest, yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
keep it where it's like, less. I always like to think about opportunities like emotional control. Like a part of the sales process, am I going to be able to control people's emotions? And if they're already coming in like with heightened emotions, I probably don't want to deal with that, because then you're also dealing with a lot of emotional stress from other people. It's actually something that I've learned. Just my wife is also on Warrior Babe, and I'm like, man, I could never do that. I could never talk to people about like what they're talking about, because it's not me. I'm very logical, so it's just kind of like figuring out what um like how you're able to do the best with that process, and then what connects and aligns with you the most.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Awesome. Got to know you guys all a little bit, got to know where you guys are kind of at. I want to open up the floor for anyone that's in an offer, that's learning. You don't have to be dialing yet, but learning about like what they need help with, what's kind of like keeping them from being as successful as they could be. So anything that you guys think that you guys could potentially improve on or need help with.
I had a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with outbound dialing, sometimes it's easy to get hung up upon, and essentially, I mean, then they control the call, so it's not like you're controlling any of the call at all. But then, I guess, what tips would you have to kind of engage the prospect in such a way that they see you as like there's an exchange of value per se, as opposed to, yeah, I'm here to sell you something. Like what mindset would you kind of have, or I don't know, like what tactical things would you do to be able
Yeah.
to do that?
The first thing I'm going to recommend is read the book Pitch Anything. Pitch
I'm
Anything.
actually, yeah, I'm reading that right now. It's on my Audible, like, so I'm going through that right now as well.
Beautiful. Have you already gotten to chapter 2?
Not yet. I'm just like 20 minutes in.
Okay, awesome. When you get to chapter 2, what I would do is go to chapter 2, read chapter 3, and then go back to chapter 2 and do that like 3 or 4 times. And just listen to chapter 2. Chapter 2 talks about frame control and authority frame, which is exactly what you're talking about. And so chapter 2 is super important. So you'll get all the information from that. I won't dive too much into pitch anything. But as far as what I would recommend, so when I'm outbound dialing, I always have like a parachute question. And what I mean by a parachute question is something that's so baseline that it would be like dumb to respond no to. And so, for instance, like with the opportunity that one of the companies that I manage, it's a AI trading offer that deals with investments. And so we asked them, oh, like, have you been interested in this? Blah, 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 blah. And like, nope. Okay, well, have you ever been interested in making additional money, additional income? Who's going to say no to that? And if you say no to that, I don't even want to talk to you. And so that's kind of like, okay, cool, that you get your first level of agreement, which now when you have that first level of agreement, then it's like, yes, okay, now how long have you been looking into that? Why are you looking into that? And now it's, you get them talking. And so when outbound dialing, you have to think about it in a couple ways. The first way is that you have to buy 30 seconds at a time until you reach a minute and 30 seconds. So there's typically 3 points when people are going to hang up on you. And it's every 30 seconds. And so if I can keep them talking, have you ever heard of someone talking and them hang up on themselves? Never had it happen to me in my entire life. So if I can keep them talking about themselves, then I get past a minute 30, now I'm in control. Why? Because you're now on the phone with me. And statistically, I know that you're not going to hang up on me after a minute 30 seconds. And so for Warrior Babe, there's a bunch of reasons why they might be coming and talking to you. Obviously, number one, fitness goals. Something easy might be like, have you ever missed your fitness goals before? Everybody has. I have. Like everybody's missed their fitness goals before. Okay, now how did that make you feel? Oh man, yeah, I didn't really like it. Like, it kind of put me down a little bit. Okay, now what have you ever like looked for help to be able to achieve your fitness goals? Well, yeah, I have. Okay, now what does that look like? And now they're talking. You've asked 2 or 3 questions. They're talking now, and now you can actually get into discovery because now you're out of the intro. And I lead with anytime they say something, it's really down to 5 questions. So once you get the first agreement, which that's why you have that parachute where they're not going to say no. First agreement's yes. What, when, how, why, timing. Anytime someone responds to me, what do you mean by that? How did that go? Why do you think that happened? How long has that been going on for? And how soon are you trying to fix that? Based on all of those questions, I'm going to learn so much about you that I won't have to go through 90% of the script because I'm going to have all the pain, emotion, and information that I need from you to be able to actually get you set.
Yeah, that's solid advice. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Sweet. Who's next? We're all here for a reason. There's got to be some questions.
Would you say framing the call is probably the most important aspect of dining out or in general an appointment setting?
No. I think framing the call is like, and I guess this is a deepening question, is like, when you mean framing the call, are you meaning like, hey, this is how the call is going to go?
Yeah, you're taking lead.
Yeah, never use that. Why do I need to tell you how the call is going to go when I can just use my heightened skill set to be able to lead you down that pathway?
That's true.
It's
That's
the same
very
way of like, if you have like, oh, I'm a manager here. That's just you trying to take a positional authority. Nobody cares if you're a manager. And in fact, if you don't sound like a manager, I'm going to rip it apart in the first place. So don't say you're a manager, just act like it.
Action speaks louder than words.
Always, always.
Could you give us a little bit of an example of that? Because like even going through like setter to closer type of training, it does talk about framework quite a bit, and it does talk about you need to nail your intro and you need to nail that you are kind of the one in charge of the call. But how would you do that without like setting a frame? What would you do?
So it's different in multiple types of calls, right? If we're talking about outbound calling, right, you're cold calling. Even if they're warm leads, you're still cold calling. Like that's really what it is. You're reaching out to them. There's not a time and place to frame the call. Of like, oh, hey, this is how the call is going to go. I'm going to talk about this, hang up. It's just how it goes. If it's on an inbound call and you have a very limited amount of time, then I'd probably frame the call a little bit. Because then it's, if you're, hey, how you doing? Where are you calling in from? Okay, awesome. Build a little bit of rapport. Hey, how this call is going to go is I'm going to ask you some questions about where you're at, where you're looking to get going, and how potentially we can help you. Okay? Sound fair? Awesome, great. Now we're going to dive in and that's how I would frame an inbound call, simply because if they get off the straight line of where I want them at, I would just go back to, hey, earlier in the call, we had mentioned that I'm just going to ask you a couple questions to get to really understand where you're at, then be able to see if we can get you to where you want to be going, okay? You mind if I can continue asking you these questions? And it's a pattern interrupt to get you back into it. So it just depends the time and place. Now, when you talk about framework and talk about intros, what's the purpose of the intro?
I was like to introduce yourself and why you're calling.
Okay. The purpose of the intro is to get to the discovery.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter who I am, they don't remember. At the end of the call, if you ask them, hey, do you remember what my name was? They're never going to remember. Also, if you don't have their name in front of you, you won't remember what their name is either.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's like, does your name truly matter? No, not really. Now, why they're calling? Okay, that's more of just like, hey, I'm going to introduce you. That way I understand like who is on the other end of the phone. Like what kind of general range of conversation we're going to have. But ultimately, I just want to get to understand you more. And that's my number one goal. Is the purpose of the intro is to get to the discovery as fast as possible. And then you have to define what this discovery is. And the discovery is them talking more about where they're currently at and you understanding about that. And I actually, about control, I was actually going to plan something today and I was like, nah, I won't do it. But this is exactly what I was going to plan anyways. So this is the way I think about conversations, is I think about it as like an umbrella, right? So as an umbrella, you have, right, the overhang, right, beautiful umbrella here. And then you have this. So if you ask a question, give me any question.
Like about
Have
an
you
offer?
missed your fit? Yeah. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to give you back what you said. Have you ever missed a fitness goal with regards to like?
Okay. Have you missed goal? Okay, yes, I have missed a goal. Okay, so yes, you have. And if it's under the umbrella, you have authority, right? Because it's whoever asks the question has the authority. We all agree on that?
Yep.
Awesome. So if it's a yes, I've missed my fitness goals. Okay, and like, why do you think that happened? Oh, I think that happened because blah 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 blah. Oh, my aunt died and all this stuff happened and all this stuff, blah 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 blah. And you reach the brim of the umbrella. Your goal is to bring it back around and be able to have more of a conversation around underneath the umbrella. And even if they ask you questions, oh, like how can I do that? And they ask you how, or what do you do, or whatever it is. And they start to ask you a couple questions. In your mind, you can't go, oh, I'm losing authority because they're asking me questions. Because ultimately, who asked the first question about this topic?
We did.
I did, yeah. So then that means that if I ask the first question about this topic right here, then I'm in control. And anything about this topic is I am in control about this topic. And then I can also leave this topic at any point in time. And I always kind of like shoot off here and then come into the next question and the next umbrella. And then I can shoot off, and then it creates the next question. And you only really need like 3 good questions to be able to go along with that. And to put it into perspective, like how most coaches talk about this, right? You want to peel the onion deeper. You guys heard that before? I know Matt said it. So
Yeah.
you want to peel the onion deeper. So it's like, okay, cool. Here's layer 1. Here's layer 2. Here's layer 3. After layer 3, get out. Go to the next one. 3 layers deep. And then if you're learning this way and you're going like, okay, well, what's the strength of my question? Now, a lot of you guys are way too new to be getting into strength of questioning. Some of you guys might be, but when I think of questioning, like, okay, tier 1 is baseline answers, right? So they're giving you very minimum. Tier 2 is going to get into more constructive benefit, what's going on in their life, getting a little bit deeper. And level 5 is level 3 is emotion. And that's the level that you want to get to, is emotion. And so then when I look at like control and I look at process through this, then things that I think about are, how good is my question? And if you guys want to be more efficient on calls, in the beginning, you're going to ask a lot of like kind of baseline questions, because you're like, oh, I'm asking a question, they're answering it, like, okay, that's good. And you'll get to some calls where they'll be like, hey, why are you asking me questions? If you guys ever get, why are you asking me questions? It's awesome. Just understand it's just because that your questions aren't good, because they're not deep enough. They don't go deep enough. And so then it's like, I feel like you're asking me the same question over and over and over again. But in your mind, you're like, no, I'm trying to get a specific answer out of you. But when you go back and listen to that call, you're going to be able to see like, okay, you should be able to ask one question and go from tier 1 to tier 2, and then ask one question to get from tier 2 to tier 3. It's based on the strength of question that I ask and how tailored it is to my specific answer that I'm looking for. And so this goes into studying. I know this is a really deep explanation on the question that was brought up. But when you study, go and listen to the questions that you ask, and then think about, what type of response was I trying to get? And did my question elicit the response that I got?
Because sometimes I'm nervous asking questions. Why is that?
Experience?
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's, experience, self-confidence, like there's a lot of things, like that's a big one to dive into. But I mean, I would think about like, what do you fear when you ask a question?
That I'm like intruding.
Okay, and what's the worst thing that can happen if someone feels like you're intruding?
Don't know. To tell them, to me to go away.
Okay, for them to tell you to go away.
Yeah.
What do you do after that?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
What do you do after that? Like if they tell you to go away, what do you do?
Oh, exit the call.
Say that again.
Exit the call.
And do what?
That's it. Just regroup.
And go to the next one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So your biggest fear is the fact that someone might hang up on you or ask you to stop talking to them and go to the next call. Now, when you look at the inverse of that, by asking really good questions and being confident in the question that you ask, what are the benefits of it?
Well, you find out their pain.
How does that help you?
Well, once you find their pain, you can find their goals.
Okay. And why does that benefit you?
Well, ultimately, because once you find a goal, you can find out if they're suitable for your product or not.
And if they're suitable for your product, what happens?
You make well, you make the sale, or you make them feel emotional about it.
Okay. And if they feel good about your product and they feel like it's going to work, what happens?
I'm a bit lost now.
They buy, don't they?
Yeah,
And you get paid.
absolutely.
All right. So the worst negative that can happen by asking really good questions is the fact that they hang up on you. And the best positive that can happen by asking really good questions is getting paid.
When you put it in that perspective, that maybe makes me confident thinking about it like that.
Exactly. You're in control. I always think about like this is your dojo. Like I love online sales. Nobody, okay, you guys could all sit here and hate on me and shame me and everything else. And all I have to do is close my laptop. All I have to do is hit the end button and I can go, I don't care about any of you guys. And that's okay. None of you guys are here. None of you guys are even close enough to be near me. So why should it affect me? And that's the negative. But the positive is that nobody can affect me in my dojo. Nobody can affect me. I'm king in this dojo. This is mine. This is my space. This whole screen is mine. Everything is in my control. And that's the way I think about it. When I'm on a call with someone, you're in my space. You picked up my phone call. You're dedicating your time to me. And I think about that because I'm here to help you change your life. And that's what I'm here to do. And I would never align myself with an opportunity that I didn't feel so confident about it. And so being able to have that confidence in whatever you do, it's like, you're dumb not to talk to me. That's exactly how I think about people that are like, I don't want to talk to you. All right, so you don't want to make money? You want to stay broke? Okay, that's fine. Why do you want to stay broke? Like, okay, fitness offers. I don't want what you have. Oh, you don't want good health? Live a long life for your kids? You don't want those things? Okay. Oh, shoot. No, I do want those things. Oh, but you don't want to spend the time to learn about it. Oh, okay. No, I do want that though. And you just hit them with tidbits of reality. And then they're like, oh, wait, I do want to listen to you. Yep. And the cool part about like, you guys might not be the best right now, but you guys are in the right community. You guys have already committed to being the best. And things that I encourage you guys to do is go opt in to other people's funnels and see how bad their setters are. And just go and take a phone call and just learn from them and be like, is this good? Is this bad? What do I like? What do I not like about it? And you guys will so quickly be able to pick up on what happens wrong and fix the things that you're doing wrong to never act that way. And then realize while you do that, everybody that you're talking to on the call is also getting phone calls from that person that bombed it. So then like immediately you should have confidence because you fixed all the problems that they had. And so you already know mentally that I'm better than that person. So when they get on the phone with me, they're going to have a totally different experience. And realize that people don't buy because of products. They don't. How many, and I brought this up last week. How many fitness coaches are there?
Thousands.
Millions. Yeah.
Thousands of fitness coaches, right? Why would they go with you?
Our team and our people.
Because it's you. Because you built that connection with them. And they trust you. And as a setter, you are the gateway into the business. And that's why I think it's so awesome to be a top tier setter. Because you are actually the gateway into providing really great businesses, really great opportunities for you, but also you bring great business to other people because if you create amazing setters, which this community is doing, creating amazing setters, all of you guys are amazing setters. You guys will ultimately not stay at bad opportunities. And we will have an influx of amazing opportunities for you guys to go to. And so then the people that are talking, the best setters are going to be talking about the best opportunities to the people that need it. And there's going to be such a drastic difference from the space of where people are like, oh, no, I've taken so many calls and I've heard so many people that these people are awful and you already sound better. And it's going to create a complete market shift. And we can already see it. Like the businesses that the coaches are already on, totally different market shift. There's totally different level of experience. There's totally different level of clientele coming in. And so just be confident in even that. Like you guys have already taken one of the biggest steps into this community. And the cool thing is it's just getting started. Every single one of these coaches could go launch their own community. I've actually launched my own sales training community before, and I just didn't want to do it by myself. And it's a cool part about having Matt come in, because Matt just created just such an amazing opportunity of coaches to be able to help every single person wherever you're at. Never seen something like this before. So it's just cool that you guys already have access to it. And so many of you guys are new to the space on where it's like you guys are already loads ahead of so many other setters because you guys are actually getting the right inputs to then be able to produce with it. So that alone should give you guys tons of confidence and understand that you guys are on the right page. Sweet. Brian, you have something to say?
No, just said thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Joseph, what are you working on, man? I haven't heard from you yet.
I'm with Springs Rejuvenation. I'm an appointment setter with them.
Heck yeah, man. How long have you been with them?
3 weeks. I just
3
started
weeks.
last month.
Excited. Hey, you're on a great offer. You're on a great offer. It's a lot of great systems, a lot of great opportunity. What do you feel like is one thing that you're needing to work on right now?
Financially qualifying people. They always ask, what is the cost? And we have to use our gut instinct is like, it's such a gray area with this gig. That's the only thing, financial qualifying people.
Yeah, financial qualifying people. You're in a very interesting niche because you can't blame it on their goals.
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame it on what else they want. It's interesting to look at. Now, what I would recommend with it are ways that you could get them to not value the financial cost as much as the results they're going to get. And basically being able to ask them, hey, look, totally understand that price is very important to you. You've asked it a couple times now. Totally get that. Now, look, what we do is we provide a custom experience to understand exactly what you need to be able to get the results that you're looking for. Now, I'm kind of curious here. What type of results are you looking for? And how long have you been looking to get them? And what do you think the benefit of these results are going to be? And Joseph, I've had the procedure done. I'm
Oh,
with my clients. And what it was for me was the fact that I was going to gain so much confidence back being on calls, being in front of the camera. And so when talking with people, it's getting them to understand like what is that actually going to be able to do for you though? Is it going to be able to help your confidence? Okay, and what are you going to be able to do with the confidence? Like what's your plan? Or are you just gonna get the hair procedure and then go sit on your butt and do nothing and look pretty? Either one is fine, but which one are you looking to do? And get them into like that future vision of it. Because frankly, like I've made so much more money since getting the procedure, since putting more content out, since doing more than the procedure cost itself. And so it's just the purpose and the reason behind it. And so realize that the financial qualifications it didn't matter whatsoever. The price didn't matter at all because it's the results that I was looking for. And majority of the men that are coming in there, they're looking for the same thing.
Yeah.
What's your wife like? How happy would your wife be if you had a full head of hair? Right? There's so many things. Would you be more confident, even just in your own family life, if you had more hair? 100%. I talk to my friends that are they're balding, and we all talk about it. And so it's something that's very real for them. So
I think the problem I run into is, and I think everyone I speak to, of course, they want hair. That's why they're on the phone with me. But it's like opening a can of worms at the same time. It's like once the cost comes up, then I have to ask them, what is it that you do for a living? And then sometimes they find that intrusive too. That's part of how we financially qualify. Like, do they have a pretty good job? Because we can't share the price with them on the phone. Usually that's supposed to wait till the closer call. So it's
absolutely.
a gray area because some people I put through, and in reality, they only have $1,000 or $2,000, and it's like they're financially disqualified. But why can I say? But because we can't really touch. It's, you know, we have to touch on topic without touching on the topic. That's what I
Yeah.
say on these calls.
I mean, that's a big part of like even going through the process that I just talked about is like
Yeah.
understanding like, okay, like, you know, how are you going to feel in your workplace? Like, okay, if you
Mhm.
had a full head of hair, how would you feel walking in those doors every single day? Okay, now I'm curious, what do you do for work? And it's
Mhm.
like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what doors are you walking through? Okay, now like you're finding different ways, like, because the biggest thing is you're building the vision. You have to
Right.
build the vision instead of the price of things. And especially with guys, like, look, I just want to know the price. Let me know what it is. I'll pay it or I won't. Like that's kind of like naturally how we think. Like that's literally what I did. I called Matt and I was like, bro, just let me know the price of this. Like I'll do it or I won't.
Like that too. So
Yep. So, but because you know you're like that, there's one of two things to do. One, embrace it and have authority frame over it and be like, John, look, man, I'm the same exact way. When looking at things like this, all I want to know is the price. But the thing is, if I was to tell you the price of this right now, you would miss all the value and miss all the results, and you wouldn't get to see what the actual process looks like and what you could experience with having a full head of hair from Springs Rejuvenation. Okay, and I wouldn't want to take that opportunity away from you. So can we come to a mutual understanding here that, you know, I just need to understand a little bit more about you to understand that if you even qualify to be able to get on this next call, to be able to experience what that would look like. Like, oh, damn. Okay. Like, yes, I will go through with that. And if they're like, look, no, not going to go through with it. Well, cool. You're probably not going to buy from us anyways. So
Mhm.
at that point in time, like, look, I'm not going to move you forward.
Yeah.
'Cause if they're not coming to like an understanding, be like, yep, look, I get it. Then it's not going to move forward. And so those are kind of ways that you can get over the qualifying. There's one, vision. Two, just being like, dude, I'm the same way, man, but we have a process here. This is how it works. I don't want you to miss out on the experience here.
Okay. Got it. That's kind of the route I've been doing anyway, but I get the hard-headed people, so
And relate to them, man. Like that's like you, because the number one thing is you have to take down their guard.
Mhm.
Be like, hey man, I'm the same way. Like, oh, okay. I'm still not giving it to you though. Ah, okay.
I get it.
Right? Yeah. That's awesome. Been with them for 3 weeks. You have Ethan. Ethan's crushing it. That's dude, I would just listen to all of his calls.
That's exactly what I did my first week. I was a hot mess when I started, but I got the hang of things now, I think, for the most part.
That's awesome. Sweet, man. Love to hear that. Is there anything else that you think that you might need help with or anything that I can shine some light on?
Oh, for no-shows, like improving no-shows, like even though I do the tie down, I always say I'm double, triple checking you'll make it at that time,
Yeah.
and they still don't show up. What is there another idea that you have that ties them down?
Yeah, so one of the things that I do that I don't see is being done enough in the space right now is when someone agrees to a time, like when you ask them, hey, like, you know, you probably give them like what, 3 times, morning, afternoon, evening time on a call? Is that what you do, Joseph?
It's automated. Yeah, it's an automated text that goes out at night and another text in the morning.
No, I mean when you book the call originally, like when you're going through timing, how do you give him a time that works for him? Like what's kind of the process that you go through?
Well, I see all the closers' calendars, so I just ask them, what's your best availability like today or tomorrow? And then I just choose whatever's earliest. So if they tell me 3 p.m. today, I say, yes, that's an available slot. And I'm just double, triple checking that's going to be available. You'll be free at that time. They say yes, then I book them.
Okay, so they're picking the time,
Mhm.
which then they're in control, which it doesn't allow you to provide as much feedback. And it also shows that like, hey, yeah, we have a bunch of availability when works for you. Be like, okay, like, hey, we have limited availability here. We are quite busy. So does morning, afternoon, or evening work best for you? Afternoon, like late afternoon works really well for me. Okay, like we have a 3 o'clock. Does 3 o'clock work? Yeah, 3 o'clock works. Okay, awesome. Now, if like, are you sure 3 o'clock works, or would like a 3:30 or 4 o'clock work better? And then you give them a different, like little bit later, and then make them come back and commit to that time. And then if they go, oh, well, actually, yeah, like 4 o'clock would work pretty good. Okay. Now, like, if 4 o'clock works, do you need something even later than that? Like, are you thinking more like evening would work better? And you're basically going through and like trying to like make him either fully commit to a time or change the time. And then if he changes it more than 3 times, if he's like, no, we could do later, be like, all right, man, what time actually works for you? Because we've just kind of like been playing through here. Does tomorrow even actually work, or are you just trying to like kind of fit something in? Because I want to make sure that you have time just to not like go on the call, but also to think about it a little bit afterwards as well. So like when actually works for you. And when you're able to like, because when you're booking, you have ultimate control.
Right.
And so I want them to commit just not once, twice, but almost 3 times to the time. Because when you have that much of a commitment, like, dude, I'm showing up at 3 o'clock. Great. That's all I wanted to know. Like, okay, hey, like, there's with Springs, there's like there's a form that needs to be filled out and everything before the call. And so that gets emailed out to them. I'm pretty sure. I would even go ask and be like, real quick, even go check your email. Make sure that you got this email, like book it in. You got the email. Okay, awesome. And the email confirms the correct time, right? You're good for tomorrow at 3 o'clock? Yeah, that works great. Okay, awesome. Well, hey, look, we look forward to having you. And then you just kind of like closing arguments. But when you get that much commitment, they're more than likely going to show up. But oftentimes this is how it sounds. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So like when works best for you? 3 o'clock? Okay, awesome. Let me get you booked in. And hey, there's going to be a form sent out to you. That way you can answer that. That needs to be done as well. And I look forward to looking forward to your call, and I'll reach out to you afterwards to see how it went. Okay, awesome. Bye. Boop. It's like no commitment at all.
I see the difference.
And so I want to hone in on that commitment. Like the intro, the discovery, the pitch, none of it matters. The tie down matters. Think about this. Like if you're an athlete, pick any athlete. I'm a runner, so I'm going to pick running. If I get my shorts on, my shirt on, my hat on and everything, and I go put my shoes on, but I don't lace the shoes, am I ready to run?
No, you're not.
No. But if I like didn't put the hat on, but I laced up the shoes, am I ready to run?
Still no, you need to lace up your shoes.
I still need to lace up the shoes. If I was to like not put a shirt on, not put a hat on, not even put shorts on, but I laced up the shoes, could I go for a run?
I mean, people would find you funny, but yes, you could.
But I could technically go for a run. Okay, so what's the most important part about like needing to prepare for the run?
You need to have shoes to be running.
And you need to have tie downs.
Yeah.
To have a set that shows up.
Okay, I get what you're saying. It's almost like just creating scarcity, like make them think that there's only limited slots and they're more likely to show up that way.
Absolutely. And then get them to commit. Like, I don't mind moving the time. I don't mind offering you different slots. I don't mind, even changing the day. I just need you to commit that you're going to show up. And so being a little bit harder on that.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah. And dude, you're a doctor's office. You guys are super packed out.
I know. That's so one thing Ethan told us too. So I got it.
Yep. Awesome. Sweet. Alrighty. Any other questions that I can help you guys out with? You guys feeling good? You guys get some value from today?
Yes.
Awesome. Sweet. If you guys could go drop some nuggets inside the Skool community. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week. You guys are getting deeper into the process funnel of everything. If you guys could bring a call to review next week. one of you guys have the confidence, toss up a call to review and be able to learn some more. Sound good?
Okay.
Awesome. Sweet guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's have a great week and let's crush it. Peace, guys.